Of course, we have talked Boston Celtics. Let's recap the NBA World Champions, whatever you want to call them, what they did this offseason. And then next week, we'll be doing our season preview. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. You'll be greatly supported. And let's get right into today's video. Let me hear your thoughts. So they got Baylor Scheierman, who's I think is a phenomenal player, 3-point shooter, like just as good as Luke Kornet or anybody you want to put as a top 3-point shooter that isn't Steph Curry. But he's also a very underrated facilitator, can play make for others, can rebound, and try so hard. I like Anton Watson as a worst case scenario. He's kind of like Trey Lyles. Best case scenario, he's maybe, I don't even know what you would compare him to, but a 3-point, the floor spacing big who can maybe replace Zeke Nnaji. Or not Zeke Nnaji, my apology. I don't know why I said Zeke Nnaji. I was thinking Anton Watson, but to replace Luke Kornet or Neemias Queta. Now, the way I also see, like, he could provide more value than a guy like Zeke Nnaji, but similar framed. Derrick White was extended. Jayson Tatum was extended. They brought back Neemias Queta, who I think will replace Luke Kornet down the road. They gave him that 3-year, $7.2 million contract. They brought back Xavier Tillman. Also, Drew Peterson and JD Davison were brought back. Tristan Enaruna on Exhibit 10 will probably be on the G League team. Now, this is a team that's going to have a lot of luxury tax payments. So they need to go out and make stuff happen. And Sam Hauser was a guy that they kept and they decided to keep. And they're in the repeater tax because now him getting all that money is, yes, he averaged 11 points, 44% from three. But I do believe that at some point, look at the roster, they're going to have to make a move to free up salary down the road. And Payton Pritchard's on one of the best value deals in the world, so I don't think Payton Pritchard's going anywhere. So before we continue the video, what do I think the roster? Who's guaranteed? The first 10 guys, the first 2 rows, everybody's staying. I think their 2 ways are complete. So you're looking at this. They have, excluding Lonnie Walker, they have 13 players. So one player, I mean, they could cut, they have 14 players, including Kristaps Porzingis. So they have one roster spot, and we've heard they might go in with 14 players and leave that roster spot. So all the guys in yellow could get cut. I expect all the guys in yellow to be on their G League team except for Lonnie Walker, or Lonnie Walker to be on it and they'll wait for an injury to happen. They could cut Jaden Springer. I hope they keep Lonnie Walker because I think he could be a legit guy off the bench for them. But yeah, that's what the team currently looks like. So let's get right into it. I just think they know that they have to win a championship to make it worth all the money they're going to spend. And locking up their guys, this is also why I think they're selling the team, is they're like, look, whoever buys this team will have to deal with the luxury tax. We won a championship. They're going to have a potential record-setting $500 million payroll and luxury tax number for the season. So this is why they're selling the team, because he won a championship and he knows moving forward that it's going to be hard. And he doesn't want to be the one who forces these decisions. So what do? I think you look at this team and they got, again, if we look at the players they got, we know that this is Al Horford's last year. So Kristaps Porzingis, Xavier Tillman, and Neemias, I think, is the future for the front court. Maybe Luke Kornet stays on a minimum deal for long as possible. But I think I doubt Jaden. I think Jaden Springer has barely played for you. And I want to know how much money they would save if they cut him. Because they could be saving a bit of money if he's not guaranteed. But I think because he was a first-round pick, he is guaranteed fully the money. So they would have to trade him and then hope somebody takes care of him there. But they could, again, that $4 million because they're in the tax could save them a bunch of money. Basically, they spent this offseason knowing that going into next offseason, the guys who will not be under contract are Al Horford and Luke Kornet as of right now. Everybody else, from Jordan Walsh, Queta, Tillman, Scheierman, Springer won't be on the roster because he has a qualifying offer, but they won't give him that. Pritchard, Hauser, White, Porzingis, Holiday, Brown, Tatum. That's 11 guys. That's 11 guys under contract. And out of those 11 guys, 9 of them are under contract 2 years from now in 26 to 27. And then 3 years from now, we got 7 of those guys under contract, being Scheierman, Pritchard, Hauser, White, Holiday, Brown, and Tatum. They got Porzingis under contract for this year and next year. So I think they're looking at this like they've got their bench figured out. Like by next year, they're hoping Pritchard, Scheierman, Walsh, Hauser, and Queta are playing an impact there. We're assuming they're keeping Kornet or Tillman long term at that point. I know Tillman signed a 2-year deal, but his deal is so cheap and he's such a valuable player that I would not be surprised if that's who they keep. Because again, it would make no sense for them to want to get rid of him. He's been phenomenal for them, and I know he's not what you typically go after, but I think he's someone who they would say gives them value. So for me, when you're looking at this offseason, it's them setting themselves up for knowing that, yeah, they're not going to be able to keep all this money because that's just not how the NBA is set up with the aprons. So it's, yes, I know everyone's going to be like, yeah, this is set up to be burdensome for the teams that draft correctly and build correctly. Like, it's now going to be hard to keep talent. Yes, the aprons were created to make parity more realistic in the NBA because they made it so that teams aren't going to be able to just, the best way to put it is just keep all the talent in one place. You're going to have to make tough decisions. And this is kind of how it is. They almost made it similar to the NFL, which some people might hate, some people might like, but the roster, next thing you know, we're going to have compensatory picks because teams like the Celtics are going to get mad for being able to draft well. So they're like, we want to be compensated for being able to draft well because we shouldn't be the ones like having to like suffer because other teams are getting mad that we're willing to spend to keep players on, on our roster. It's kind of what I would not be surprised if is something that they push for, just because of how you look at the team and what they were, just basically what they were doing. It makes a lot of sense that, like, hey, if you're a fan of, let's say, the Celtics and you want them to spend money, but they want to keep their guys, at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot harder for them to justify keeping the bench guys and not paying Tatum and Brown, because you're not going to be able to replace Tatum or Brown with anybody else in a trade. Like, no trade is going to properly compensate you for if you were to lose those players. So this is it, and they have to set themselves up in preparation for that. So that's just what we're seeing. I think that's just the market correction. And yeah, I want to hear your guys' opinions. That's basically it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If there was anything else you wanted to hear, let me know in the comment section. Peace out.